AirAsia is an absolute pioneer of budget traveling, with an honest and humble branding. Low fares and no frills, yet I always disembark as a happy customer, because they don't promise me the world. And yet they always over-deliver. From superstar crew members to the most iconic airplane meal to ever be served. Join me on a trip from Sri Lanka to Kuala Lumpur and let's see how good or bad AirAsia is performing in 2023. My trip started in gloomy Colombo, embarking on a 4-week trip exploring some really cool new airlines and aviation adventures. I've been on over 25 AirAsia flights in the past and has always been a great experience. AirAsia lets you tailor your own flight experience with additional meal, luggage or extra legroom seats, or just a basic flight for an extremely low fare, which the airline is all about. So here we are, all checked in for the AirAsia experience, especially looking forward to a good portion of Uncle Chin Chin rice. Let's do this. Colombo is quite busy these days and a total tourist magnet after the social unrest last year. Lots of airlines have increased their flights to Sri Lanka and a few new ones are to be seen here as well. I also saw my good old friends from Qatar Airways, on which I have an update later for you too, so don't skip it. And here's today's ride to Kuala Lumpur, the good old Airbus A320 with a special university livery. The airline is currently operating 100 of them and they still have 362 Airbus A321neos on order, which have been delayed due to the past pandemic. But now let's board the plane and see what AirAsia has in store for us. Hi, how are you? Welcome aboard. Every plane on AirAsia's fleet has 180 seats in a standard 3-3 configuration. However, you can always purchase a hot seat with increased legroom. So guys, and here we are. Welcome on board AirAsia. One of my favorite budget airlines in the world. A very lovely welcome at the door. Crew is in a very good mood. I love that. I asked also very nicely at the check-in counter whether I can have an emergency row, which comes with a little bit more of leg room, as you can see right here. And there you go. I've enhanced my travel experience by a lot. So yeah, very much looking forward to the next 3 hours. The food, Uncle Chin Chin rice, my favorite. So yeah, let's see what they have in store for us. In terms of entertainment, you can browse the Onboard magazine, which also features the menu for onboard purchases if you haven't pre-booked your meal, or you can make use of the in-flight Wi-Fi, but unfortunately it wasn't working on my flight, so I can't tell you anything about it. If you know what it offers, please let me know in the comment section below. One passenger during rotation tried to quickly claim the emergency row, but not with today's crew, who literally put her back in place. Once we reached cruising altitude, the lunch service would start. So guys, and here we are. Uncle Chin chicken rice, one of my absolute favorite and probably very iconic meal in the aviation industry. It has been around for many years and it's just delicious, very good, one of my real favorites. So let's see whether it tastes as good as I remember. So the Uncle Chin chicken rice was just as good as I remembered it. And let's talk about crew. On this flight, there's one particular crew that stood out for me. Her name is Jody, and Jody is an absolute superstar. Huge smile on her face, the way she communicates with the passengers, the way how active she is, it's very impressive. She takes huge pride in her job, and that's what I love to see, right? 2 days ago, I published a Qatar Airways video where I was saying the crew wasn't performing, the crew wasn't that good, given that it's a world-class airline or considered the best airline in the world, and they promote their crew heavily as one of the best in the world. you have very different expectations. Where most of the people in the comment section, they agreed that Qatar is on a decline, they had similar experiences. I got a lot of email from Qatar Airways crew as well, saying that the working conditions aren't great. And I understand that, and I have massive empathy for people that aren't being treated right at their jobs, which you could see with Vistara, where I took a huge stand, I investigated, I called their practices out publicly, and a lot of things have changed. However, what I don't understand is when people say, oh, they might be jet lagged, they might be exhausted from the trip. That is not an excuse. You signed up for this, you know exactly what you were expecting, and you can leave your job anytime if you don't like it. You know, I have sometimes 5 flights in a row, I'm terribly jet lagged, but I don't run around and I'm not grumpy to people or insult people or make them feel miserable because I chose to fly around the world making videos. I always try to be kind and I always try to be a nice person. So this is something that they need to understand. That's what they signed up for, right? That's what it's part of their job description, you know, and that's what you judge them on, you know. When I was like 21, I worked at McDonald's, and my job description said flip burgers, you know, and that's what I did, you know. And I have been fired from jobs as well because I wasn't performing, and that is the reality, you know. It's not like that Qatar Airways is a charity and that they provide free flights. No, in the end, the customer is paying their salaries, you know. And I understand that everybody can have a bad day, and I do have a very understanding in these kind of things, but I also understand that the customer pays a lot of money for those flights, and we have expectations, and it comes down to what Qatar Airways is advertising, and they do advertise a world-class experience, and when you have your job interview, they probably tell you that. And that's how I see things. So I hope you can understand my point of view, but I also want to point out that on AirAsia you expect very little, and what Jody does here on this flight is incredible. One of the best crews I've seen in a very, very long time, and I was quick to judge crew, but I also very quick to point out when they do an incredible job. And Jody, you are an AirAsia superstar, and I hope your company sees that and recognizes that. Alright guys, that was my mid-flight rant. Next is the Lou review, and then I guess we'll be slowly starting our descent into Cahill. So, and here we are inside the loo of the Airbus A320 of AirAsia. You can tell it's a little bit dated, but then this plane has been flying for 9 years, almost 10, and probably can see it for yourself. It is, it has been used for quite some years. I don't even know how long AirAsia keeps their 320s in service, but I reckon this one is probably going to fly another 5 to 10 years max. Usually the 320s, they stay in service for quite some time. But yeah, other than that, it's acceptable. I then took a little nap, and we then started our descent into Kuala Lumpur Airport with an on-time arrival. So guys, here we are. Welcome to Cahill International Airport. There's actually 2 terminals, or 2 airports. One is for Malaysia Airlines and all the other international airlines. And then this one is solely for AirAsia and budget airlines, which opened, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm gonna grab my bag, and then we clear immigration, and then we head to the hotel, and then I'm gonna give you a full summary of today's flight.
Once I grabbed my suitcase, I made my way to the city center, which is a good hour drive from the airport, depending on the traffic. On my way, I was able to see the second tallest building in the world, the Merdeka 118. I still remember back in the days when the Petronas Twin Towers were considered the tallest. Time flies indeed.
So, and here we are. Welcome to the Ritz-Carlton in Kuala Lumpur. Very small world. In the elevator, I met somebody from China, and he is from Sanlitun, or Sanlitur, how you say in the Beijing accent. That's where I used to live for 3 years. We had a little chat, really nice. And that's also an indication of what's coming in a week's time, because I'll be going to China for a week. Doing a few cool aviation challenges, so if you don't want to miss out on them, subscribe right now. But other than that, AirAsia today, brilliant flight, great flight. It isn't, it is with a certain price tag comes certain expectations, right? And AirAsia has a very low price tag. Food was amazing, the seat was great, I had my own row, crew was fantastic, phenomenal. And as I said earlier, Judy was an amazing asset to the company, is doing a really good job. So I really hope she gets the recognition that she deserves. It's great to see when people love their job, I became a cabin crew because I want to be a cabin crew. I want to engage with people. I want to enjoy my job. That's just how I see it, right? That's why, that's how I create my job, because I want to travel. I want to review airlines. I want to see the world. I think that's what we all agree on, right? Anyways, this is it. I will order some room service now. Maybe some good burger, because I'm very hungry. Because all I had today was Uncle, that's German. Uncle Chin chicken rice, and it's amazing. One of the most iconic airline meals there is in the world. But yeah, guys, if you also want to check out my extra perks, such as joining my WhatsApp group, or have early access to my videos, or get the Cahill keyring, this one here, removed before flight with my logo on it, check out the link in the description box below. It's like over 400 patrons now. We're great little family, and it's always nice to see when you guys support my work. Other than that, let me know in the comment section below who you think is the best budget airline in Asia. I want to know. This is it. I am now getting a burger, get some sleep, and tomorrow I am off to Vietnam on Singapore Airlines. It's going to be a very interesting review as well, because we're going to talk about a little bit of my past experience, my not so nice experience with Singapore, but we're also going to check them out in economy class on the 737 MAX. This is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Wherever you're off to, have a safe trip.